So here we are in downtown Kingston, Tennessee. A cute little town. I think I've mentioned before that there's a good shooting range here, indoor range. Very well managed, not terribly expensive. I think you can get a lane for about $12. So it's a nice way to spend an afternoon. I've done it on several occasions and I've really had a good time. Of course, it's always best if you have some buddies to go along with you, and on the occasions I've been there, I have had friends that also like to cut some paper with their 9mm or whatever it is they happen to be using. And they're fussy. They want to see what kind of ammunition you're using, and they want to take your driver's license and hold that until you're through, which is a good idea. A little ways up ahead on the right, you'll see Watts Bar Lake, which is a very nice lake. And there's a little park a little ways up alongside here, which I would have used in my youth perhaps as a thinking place. I had something like that back in New York State. It was at Lock 23 on the State Barge Canal system. And I would ride my Super Glide over there and just park and sit and have a chance to commune with my thoughts, and it was always very pleasant doing that. Also, as you can see up ahead here on the right, there's a public facility. Now, sure enough, if I had skipped the Shell station, getting gas and using their facilities, I'd have come over here and the place probably would have been locked tighter than a drum. I would have made my way back to the Shell station. But anyway, I've made the turn onto Route 72, which runs from we're just outside of Kingston all the way to Loudon, which is the name of the town I live in. Hey bro, having a good ride there? He's like me, taking advantage of a good day to get out and ride your bike and have a good time. I think we all enjoy that, don't we? I know I sure do. I'm always kind of tickled when I see these arrows on the side that, yeah, there is a turn here. You must realize that, right? But, you know, with no street lights, and suppose if you've been at the local gin mill and gotten a little tanked up, perhaps everything you can use to keep you on the road is a good thing, right? And even if you aren't tanked up, still. But anyway, I digress. As you can see, the trees are pretty bare. We've got some twisties coming up, but this is a slightly technical road, but not very. The bare trees here remind us that it's still late February, and it'll be a while before they come into full bloom with the dogwoods and the redbud and the cherry trees, and one of the first things to come into bloom will be the crabapple trees, which almost as we speak, they're beginning to come into bloom. It's a beautiful tree, beautiful white flower, but of all things, it is without a doubt the stinkiest flower I think God ever created. And I remember one time I was out to a concert with a friend of mine, and they had these trees surrounding the parking lot, and all of a sudden I was hit with this really whoa smell. I said, "What is that, Lou?" And he said, "Oh, that's the trees. They get like this every spring." Well, sure enough, that's what it was. And we have 2 of them on our property at home, so they will make themselves known pretty soon. But anyway, as you can see, this is nice farm country. I don't think we'll be seeing any livestock along here, but there are probably some cattle farms and maybe a horse farm or 2. And I think that you will enjoy seeing these pleasant country scenes This is really a very nice area here. I always enjoy driving along here. And it's a warm day. I've taken the lining out of my jacket. I ride with a Joe Rocket jacket, which is the first modern jacket I've ever had. I mean, I've always had like Brooks leather or Bates leather or something like that. And I hadn't realized how far along the technology had come. When you have jackets that are not leather, they have padding in all the right places, and they have venting, and they have like a vest that you can zip in for colder weather rides, and they're really pretty sensational. The other thing that I can't get over is how amazingly heavy they are. I notice this when I take it off and put it back on the hanger. I mean, way more than the leather jackets are, and I guess that's because of the hard shell padding at the elbows and shoulders, and there's one in the small of the back. All designed to help you should you be pitched off your bike, or hopefully less likely pitched off of a trike. One of the reasons I went with a trike is I didn't like the idea of going down or flying off at speed, certainly. But anyway, I was thinking the other day about where I used to work in Chicago, where winters were extremely cold. Not nearly as much snow as what I experienced in upstate New York, where temperatures were certainly cold, could get below zero. But in the Syracuse area, the whole idea of having like 150 inches of average snowfall was pretty overpowering. And in Chicago, we didn't get nearly as much snow, but it was very much colder. There was one day in particular where wind chills were forecast to be 50 or 70 degrees below zero, which is not very pleasant if you're standing on a street corner waiting for a bus. And that particular time, the senior vice president told us that dress warm, dress any way you want to, but for heaven's sakes, please come to work. And most people did. The outfit I wore, I can't even imagine how weird it must have looked with all the things I had on to try to keep the wind off me. But standing on that street waiting for the bus to come to take me down to the Blue Line was quite a challenge. And it was actually the beginning of our dress down period, where we started dressing down on Fridays, which a lot of companies at that time, this would have been in the early 90s, started doing. And that meant we could wear jeans on Friday. Well, I guess it's stuck in somebody's craw about professional and semi-professional people wearing blue jeans. So they made a compromise, and they said, dress down every day, but no jeans. So we got quite a variety of clothing. The vice president that was over my division, or a section of my division, continued to come to work with his three-piece suit. And the senior vice president allegedly took him aside and said, dress down, Patrick. This means all of you. So the next day he came to work in clothing that looked like it was better suited for cleaning out the garage. And I don't know this for a fact, but I kind of have a feeling that the senior vice president spoke to him again, because he found a happy medium that seemed to please everybody. Typically slacks and a dress shirt was absolutely fine, but I kind of liked wearing like a flannel shirt and a pair of slacks, and in the wintertime I wore hiking boots. And that seemed to be kind of the right thing to do for me at the time. But anyway, and also I kept a pair of ice skates in my drawer, because at least once a week during the winter, a friend and I would go over to an ice skating rink, which was maybe a 10-minute walk from our office, and we enjoyed that for several years in a row. And well, it meant lunch was pretty scarce or absent, but it was good to get out there on the ice. And it was one of the relatively few times I would get a chance to be with him on the ice. But anyway, I enjoyed my 21 years in Chicagoland. My wife and I both decided that we should retire early, and we were able to, so we did. That's how we wound up in East Tennessee. And it is a beautiful place to live. I think you can probably tell from my monologue that I like it very much here. Is this where I'm going to spend the rest of my life? Hard to say. We looked into Florida, and we looked into a continuing care facility that has a buy-in, and pretty steep buy-in. But one of the good things about it is that even if you run out of money, they won't throw you out, and that's kind of unusual. But we wonder how much they get into people's personal lives and managing their finances. That's a question that we really hadn't broached with the sales representative we talked with. Plus the fact, as I looked through the telephone directory, I happened to notice that most of the people that lived there were widows. So, what does that mean for me for finding a buddy that likes to do the kinds of things I like to do? I don't know. Or maybe it means I have to find them outside of that community. Well, worse things could happen. And we also looked at buying a place at this large condominium complex. But one of the things I've discovered is that maybe owning property in Florida is not such a great thing. Because, as one of my friends has told me, everything is more expensive in Florida. Florida used to be a cheap place to retire, but not so much anymore. Car insurance is significantly higher. Home insurance, if you own property, is significantly higher. Gasoline is a little bit more expensive. But, property is available fairly inexpensively. Condos, two-bedroom condos that are, it's probably 1,000 square feet than what we're living in now. But at some point we'll have to downsize anyway, I guess, so that could be all right. But still undecided. In the meantime, I think what we'll probably do is rent a place for 2 or 3 months during the winter months, which are the least pleasant here. And I know it's still winter right now, but and we did have a very cold winter here. We got down in the teens and kind of mutilated one of my cactus plants, which had been doing so well up to that point. But anyway, so that may be a good plan for a number of years to follow, living here in our home and going away for the winter. I think that would be a workable solution, and probably Sarah would like it, and I would like it, and well, maybe you folks have some thoughts on it. Those of you that are old enough to start thinking about things like this, and that may not be very many of you. But anyway, so all you trikers, bikers, gagers, and dreamers, and everybody has to have a dream. It's been pleasant having you along with me again. I hope you are enjoying what I'm doing here. Please like and feel free to comment, and constructive criticism is always welcome. But in the meantime, by golly, get out there and ride if you can. Keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. And deuces to you guys. Ta-la!